Hi, this is Charles Jacobs. First, let me say Shana Tova, Happy New Year to our Jewish friends and supporters. May the coming year be one of health and happiness for you and yours, and may it be, for all of us in the Jewish community, a year of victories over those who aim to do us harm, and they are many. That's why I'm here to ask for your support in the coming year. Why should you want to help us at APT? Because all of us sense the dark clouds hovering over the Jewish community. Hatred for Jews is coming from many directions. Yet many also sense the failure of Jewish leadership to deal with these threats. And, almost uniquely, we are doing something about that. Yes, our leaders know that we are targeted by the traditional Jew haters from the right, the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis. These are easy to recognize, easy to find allies against, and easy to unite Jews to fight. But Jewish leadership mostly ignores what may be the more difficult long-term threats we face. On the radical left, progressives have come to hate the Jewish state, and now they viciously oppose Israel's Jewish supporters here. Unlike the neo-Nazis, the progressives exert major influence in powerful institutions, the media, the universities, the liberal churches, and now in Congress. At the same time, we're also threatened by radical Muslims, including professors, social activists, and most blatantly by Islamic preachers who spew hatred for Jews from mosques across this country. Muslim political organizations have joined progressives in what is called a red-green alliance to weaken Jewish influence and the pro-Israel community. It is just this alliance that is chasing the Jews out of Europe. It has come to America. It's been on the campuses here for over a decade, intimidating Jewish students. And the red-green team has arrived in Congress. It's called the Squad. Sadly, Jewish leaders mostly ignore these dangers. They are reluctant to fight the left, and they seem fearful even to mention the Muslim threat. Why? Because they have sympathies for progressive causes. Because these sympathies make them cling tight to fraying alliances with the groups who used to honor Jews, but whose activists have mostly abandoned Israel. Eager to maintain their progressive bona fides, Jewish leaders have been led to embrace the very people and organizations that threaten us. This pattern of failed Jewish leadership can be seen in cities across America. Here in Boston, where we work, we see it clearly. Jewish leaders in the hub have failed to understand our adversaries, and they have failed to create new strategies for these new challenging times. And we believe that our leadership's failures constitute as much of a danger to the community as the threats posed by our external foes. And that is why at APT, as we expose and combat anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, we call out our leaders for failing to do so, because something has to change. Now let me tell you how Boston's Jewish leaders are failing to deal with radical Islam in our midst. And let me tell you what we're doing about it. Radical Muslim leaders in Boston are spreading Jew hatred in their mosques. We've caught them and we've published their hate sermons. But because their leftist political allies label any reporting of this as Islamophobic, Jewish leaders give Boston's Islamists a free pass. Whenever this happens, we expose them for it. Boston's Jewish leaders have embraced Sheikh Yasser Fahmy. Fahmy heads the terror-linked Islamic Society of Boston's Roxbury mega mosque. Fahmy calls Israelis, quote, the greatest of oppressors and wrongdoers. He preaches to his flock the lie that Jews are trying to take over the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. This libel was originally invented by the Mufti of Jerusalem, Amin al-Husseini, who was an ally of Hitler. It's a lie that has incited Arab mobs time and again to riot and kill Jews. And yet, last year, Robert Treston, the head of Boston's ADL, and Jeremy Burton, the head of Boston's JCRC, the Jewish Community Relations Council, invited Fahmy to give a sermon at our vigil for the victims of the Tree of Life synagogue massacre. That made him kosher. And once that happened, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker went to Fahmy's mosque to praise him. So the Republican governor of Massachusetts praises a man who incites Muslims against Jews, in great part because Boston's Jewish leaders encouraged him to do it. We were the only group that spoke up. We've written about Sheikh Fahmy's bigoted sermons and his mosque's terrorist connections in several national publications: The Federalist, Front Page Magazine, and The American Thinker. And in those pieces, we called out the ADL and the JCRC for their embrace of these radical Islamic leaders. And we will continue to call them out until they stop. Our campaign to pull Jewish leaders back from giving cover to radical Islamists in Boston is having some success. Now, according to the FBI, CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations, is a front for Hamas, the terrorist group in Israel that calls for Muslims to kill every Jew on the planet. When Lexington's Rabbi Howard Jaffe, in an event sponsored by the JCRC, allowed a leader of CARE to solicit funds from his congregation, we campaigned to expose this scandal. We distributed information and a hard-hitting video to the Jewish community. And since then, CARE has not been invited into any Boston area synagogues. We have been unrelenting in exposing the JCRC's relations with CARE, and this too has paid off. This past June, far leftist Jewish lawmakers co-sponsored a Ramadan event at the Massachusetts State House with CARE. Perhaps they were emboldened by the JCRC's previous collaboration with CARE. But after our pressure, however, this year the JCRC reversed its public position. I quote, "Based on unresolved questions about this organization, we consider CARE to be an inappropriate partner for ourselves and for the mainstream community." Look, friends, our leaders are failing us, but no one wants to say this truth. After over 15 years of encouraging and educating the Boston ADL, reluctantly we took out an ad in Boston's Jewish Advocate publicly challenging the ADL on its failures. It said, in effect, here's what they are failing to do, and here's what we are trying to do to fill in the void. Now, who do you want to support with your donations? All groups are doomed to failure without effective leadership. This holds true for businesses, nations, and for ethnic groups. The Jewish community will continue to suffer and will ultimately fail unless we see more effective leadership. You, our supporters, make all of this work possible. We hope that you will continue to follow our work and to contribute to APT, to help us with these important efforts. By supporting APT's work, you will be making your own contribution to Jewish defense where it is needed the most. You can donate on our website, peaceandtolerance.org, peaceandtolerance.org. Thank you. Be brave, tell the truth, and Shana Tova.